that game. Thanks, Freak. We're joined by TSM's Amazing, fresh off a win against EG. Now, I want to ask you something straight off the bat, which is that you got a lease now. That's 7 wins now on a lease with no losses, and this is not to knock your lease in play, but you're 3-2 on lease in. Why do you think it is that teams are letting you have a lease and banning the lease in instead?
It seems to me that overall Lee Sin is regarded as a stronger jungler. Like overall, he has better early game. He has more playmaker ability. So, and people are usually scared of like good Lee Sin, so they will more usually ban it than the Elise, because Elise is just such a standard pick that it always works. Like it's always like somewhat good, but not like dominant good. So people just let it open, and we've seen that in the past. Like even Dexter, like is another jungler that prioritizes it, and like we all just like get Elise basically 24/7 whenever we want to get it.
Okay, and going back to Champion Select here, where you saw the Twisted Fate as well as the Evelynn locked in. Now, this is a composition as a jungler that can have about 4 people show up in a lane very quickly. How does that change your style, and what were you thinking coming into the game?
It really depends. Like, if you shut down TF early, like he won't be able to roam properly. If he can't leave his lane, if his turret gets pushed down, or overall he can just be one-shot by the Syndra, he's not going to be able to roam. And if you control Evelynn early, the same thing occurs. So basically my mindset was shut him down early, win the game off of that, especially due to our comp strength. And Renekton could, for example, never be ganked, and our bot lane played quite safe in comparison to other bot lanes, so it was pretty good.
All right, well, working off that idea of safety, right, and not knowing where everyone is or where everyone can be at every moment, that resulted in no kills for about the first 10, 11 minutes of the game. So we're actually going to pull up a replay. 11:30 into the game. It's where you guys are at the mid turret and you end up catching a couple out. So kind of walk me through the decision that brought you to this point.
So basically, we're somewhat desperate to just make something happen because we have the mid pressure. We just want to force a play, and Crapple walks in as he saw us rotating, and he gets caught out. So we kill him. Helios basically gets the same fate, and we basically dive people as they are basically outmaneuvered on the map, and that's how it is. Like, we're fast on the rotation. We just want to make a play happen, and it happened due to them mispositioning and us out-rotating them.
All right, great. And you actually managed to pick the turret up off of that as well.
Yep.
So that's a large amount of gold that's going into your pockets at that time. What I want to know is immediately, what are the calls being made for snowballing that lead?
So basically, first of all, vision control is like the most important thing that is like existent in the game. So if you want to snowball, you have to control their buffs, you have to control Drakes, like etc. pp. So what our call was like reset, get the items that you need, get the wards that you need, ward the map up, light it up, and basically make place of the vision that we have and of the items that we have.
And speaking of the items that you had, your build. Talk to me about your build, Amazing.
Okay.
Obi boots, Sightstone.
So basically, I was really done for ahead of Eve, so I just thought like, well, I should probably like be mobile on the map. I don't really want to buy any more wards, so I just invested in the side zone. And overall, it seems to me that side zone Elise is like, in my opinion, a really good build, whereas others differ from that. But I think like overall, if you just like get that early side stone or after the ancient golem item, you can basically make plays off of the cocoons that you can land due to the vision that you have, and due to the mob builds that I had, I could get ganks off everywhere and basically auto-rotate the enemy jungler.
Fantastic. I mean, there were a bunch of amazing team fights. That was totally unintentional.
Really?
It really was. Okay, there was a bunch of team fights that went in your guys' favor following that, which just increased the lead. And what I want to know is what were the steps to close out the game? Because it seemed very methodical.
It was not as methodical as it seemed. Like, we were kind of lost because like the thing is that they still were kind of good in team fights. Surprisingly, Kotma did a ton of damage, so we couldn't really push up mid, even though we had Braum like who would cover waves or something like that. But like overall, we just wanted to, in the end, like basically decide to get Nash pressure by warding it up, pink warding it, getting wards in their jungle, like try to catch them out. That did not really work out that well. So in the end, we just like got some lucky plays on. We got the mid turret at some point, and that's how it is. Like, it was not that methodical as we wanted it to be, but it still worked out to some extent.
And you guys are looking better and better every week on TSM. And I'm going to attribute some of this to Loco Doco. We had him here earlier on the desk. He described his coaching style as very personal. And what has Loco Doco done for you, Amazing?
the difference now between me before Lokudokun arrived and me now is that I'm more open-minded, try to listen to more advice and not be as stubborn as I used to be. So that's basically something that he helped me with, and I feel like I'm actually having a more open mind, not just like overall, but also in-game, where I'm trying to force plays at certain times where in the beginning of the split, I was really just farming a lot, just try to carry off of that, which is not the right mentality in this meta, nor is it the right mentality for TSM.
Yeah, and you guys had a very supportive role for your team there. And now you guys have one more game coming up. It's going to be against Complexity. How are you preparing for that?
We can watch. We'll probably rewatch the games. I think they already played 2 or 3. I'm not quite sure. So we'll just go through those, watch our own replays, just like go through those and really try to figure out what we could have done better, what we could have exceeded more. And basically, the Dignitas game is a big thing for us because we felt like we could have done many things differently. That's like a big game for us that we lost. And if we go through that and prepare for tomorrow, we'll come in strong.
All right, one last question. Bit of a macro question. We're taking a step back. You guys are 8-0 against the bottom 3 teams in the LCS, which means that you only have 2 wins against the teams in the rest of the standings. Now, it's clear that you can beat these lower teams. The question is, what do you need to do in order to step up your game and start taking wins off of the top tier teams?
We just have to be more confident in our play overall. I feel like, especially coming into the Dignitas game, we're kind of confused to some extent in some of the situations that we're forced into. It was kind of surprising to us what they did to us, whereas we can calculate the lower teams way better, in my opinion. So what we have to do, prepare way better, and through the preparation that we have, and we'll try to exceed that, we can basically expect more what is coming out of the top teams and basically counter that properly, instead of just coming into the game, maybe not as confident as we should be, and not be prepared in the right manner.
All right, well, it was a good win for you guys to close out the day. Thank you for joining us here on the desk. Now, we've got to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll jump into our 5th game of the day, Cloud9 versus Curse. The NA LCS continues in 3.5.